Hello, welcome to Kingdom Cooking. I am your cook and host, Romel Moore. Don't forget, Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceed out of the mouth of God. Purpose of this program is to give you a wonderful recipe along with a blessed word from heaven. Today we're going to be making a spicy Thai basil stir fry. And the word of the Lord is coming out of Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20, which reads, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So I admonish you actually read that entire chapter. It is quite relevant to the things we're dealing with in society today. So let's get started. Now, I have basil here. We have some ground beef that we're going to be using. All right. I have some two types of red chilies here, the smaller ones and the larger ones. Okay. Uh, Three nice sized cloves of garlic. And we're going to be using eggplant. You can also substitute this with zucchini if you like. All right. So let's get started. Now, first thing we want to do is use our this is the mortar, this is the pestle, and we're going to use that and set this to the side. And we just want a rough chop of the red chili. Okay, it's a nice rough chop. You want to use the seeds. Okay, there we go. Well, these smell wonderful already. All right, so we're doing quick rough chop of this. All right, and it's going in here. There we go. All right. And I'm gonna do the same with the smaller ones. Yeah. So the passage in Isaiah is pretty powerful. And if anyone is paying attention and watching the news and what's going on in our government right now, you know how relevant that passage is right now with all of the perverted and sick things that our own government is trying to make norm. Okay. Now we just want a quick rough chop of the garlic. There we go. All right, let's put that in there. Oh yeah. So don't mind the seeds because you want the heat. All right. Now, what we want to do is so all we're going to do. Okay. Just press and pound this. Okay. We don't even want it into a paste on this one. There's other times when we're doing this, we'll add like some shallots to make some curry, some homemade curry. But on this one, we're not even doing that. Okay. So spend a minute just pressing it good. Ooh. Get that goodness back in here. Okay. Smells great. Okay. Now I'm just going to transfer all this goodness in here. There we go. So this is what we're looking like. Okay. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to break it all the way down. Just a nice crushing of it. All right. Next, we're going to cut up our eggplant. Now, with the eggplant, cut off the end here. I want to cut it in odd shapes. All right. So I'm gonna go on an angle here, and I don't want it to be too big. Now this eggplant is quite tender, so that's how we want it. So I'm gonna cut it on one angle, then another one. I'm gonna turn it so I can get different angles. Just twist it a little bit with each cut. You can cut this however you please. I'm just doing different angles because the more angles you have, see, instead of one slice, you got just two sides for it to cook. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides it can cook on. All right. So that's why I'm hitting angles. So, as I was stating about woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, darkness light and light darkness, as absurd as that sounds. We're actually living in that day right now. And this is the season when there is a cultural revolution, a sexual revolution, and the word of God, especially the morality and simplicity of the word of God, is under attack. It's time to get close to God. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So we already have our basil that we're going to use in the end. We got our red chilies and garlic, and we got the eggplant good to go. So only thing we need to do next is our sauce. Okay, with the sauce, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. Come on. It's 1. There we go. Good to go. And 2 tablespoons. Now, you can use fish sauce. I don't eat fish sauce. I'm going to use soy sauce. 2. And we got to balance this out with some sweetness. 1 tablespoon. I only use brown sugar. There we go. Now let's mix this up. We good to go. Let's make it to our skillet. All right. Let's get our heat on. We'll add 1 tablespoon of avocado oil. There we go. Now, while this heat up, let's talk a little bit more about the text. So we know that there's a sexual revolution that the far left in politics is called the far left, but it's hosted by the Democratic Party, and they basically want to eliminate God-created genders. They're trying to pass the law where legally you can't call someone a male or female because with this spirit of perversion that's coming from the gates of hell. They want to eliminate sex, because see, once you eliminate sex, who you have sex with cannot be outlawed. That's the whole purpose. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, we're not just talking about same sex anymore. Once you eliminate the definition of gender and sexes, now lying with kids, pedophilia, they already trying to prove to you that pedophilia, you're born that way, there's nothing you can do about it. Pedophiles, that's just how they are. And so right after that is lying with animals, because there's no genders now, which means morality is thrown out the door. All right, so we got this heated up. Let's add our peppers or chilies, red chilies, and our garlic. As soon as you put this on the heat, be prepared for a blast from the past. It's strong, it's gonna hit you. It'll hit you right in the nostrils. All right, so be prepared. Couple these up. All right, but it smells good. Just cutting some of these up a little bit. That's what I'm talking about. We're gonna let this cook. Now we're gonna add our beef. I may not need all of this. Let's give our, Lord, this is strong. Let's give our beef a little time to cook. Okay. All right. We're looking good. So when the beef is just about fully cooked, I drained the oil, the fat from the beef. You want to use a lean beef if possible. So I don't want the excess fat to stay and linger in. Now we're going to add our eggplant. There we go. It'll look good. Use something a little bigger. Let this cook for a minute. Like I said, the eggplant is already tender, but we want to give it time to get it acclimated in the skillet. Okay. Now we want to add our sauce. Stir it up a little bit more. Get any sugar that settled at the bottom. There we go. Now we're cooking. This smells very nice, but it's still kind of strong. A good strong. We're gonna mix that up pretty good. Now let's give our eggplant a little time to cook. Look at that. Smells wonderful. Look at what we got here. Don't that look wonderful? Now, last but not least, we'll add our basil. I got some pretty big basil leaves here. Add our basil. Just mix it. Now, we're pretty much done, so you can turn the heat off. Even if your basil is a little wilted, you can use it right before it goes bad. There you go. Look at that. Turn that all the way off. Pretty much done. Let's plate. Here we go. Isn't that beautiful? Don't forget, Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. God bless you.